Everyone, welcome back to my channel, where I make art and talk about my favorite topics of the week. First of all, I apologize if you can hear it in my voice, but it seems like I might be starting to come down with something, but I still gotta record, so again, sorry if I sound a little funny, but let's get into the video. Now, this video is for a very specific type of person who, like me, are both X-Men and gurren lagann enjoyers. Because today, I'll be combining them together by drawing some of the X-Men characters in the style and composition of the gurren lagann eyecatches. It's a rather fitting combination, honestly. The X-Men and gurren lagann are both stories about an oppressed group struggling for survival and their place in the world. The parallels are right there. But actually, this idea came from the video I did for one of my color palette challenges when I drew Wolverine, and I just happened to have been watching gurren lagann at the time, and the art style sort of bled its way into the piece. I talked about it then, about wanting to do something more seriously inspired by the show, and I'm finally doing it now. Anyway, I'm doing 3 of these today, which is why I've cut out this sketch portion of my process, but basically, I gathered a bunch of screenshots of the eye catches, and I chose a few to reference for each of the X-Men. As you can already see, I'm currently drawing Scott, aka Cyclops, using the Kamina, Simon, and Kitan eye catches for reference. The Kamino one doesn't have any other characters in it, but Kitan and Simon have Yoko and Nia and Buta in their backgrounds, so I decided to add Jean and Logan to Scott's. Yes, to me, Wolverine is the equivalent of a pig mole. In a good way, I promise. I didn't really stick to any particular character design with any of these, to be honest, and I'm not even sure I really used any references. For them, I mostly went by memory and personal preference. But I think it turned out pretty good, and it captures the characters the way I wanted to. For the second piece, I did Storm, and I based it off of this screen cap, which I'm pretty sure it's not actually one of the eye catches, but I thought the pose suited her perfectly. This one took me the longest of the 3 pieces, so I do apologize if the video jumps around too much. I should probably also address the change in format. Usually I use the built-in time-lapse recorder in Clip Studio Paint, but from my last video, I noticed that it doesn't really capture my process when I use things like the gradient map, hue adjustment, or the lasso tool. I knew before starting these that I would be most likely using the lasso fill tool a lot, since the gurren lagann style uses a lot of flat colors and relies on the strong black shadows to create dimension. Also, I'm lazy and I really like using the lasso tool. Anyway, I also downloaded OBS Studio recently, and I decided it would be the perfect time to experiment with recording speed draws this way, and that's why you can see my whole screen. I did consider cropping the edges so that you can only see the workspace, but in my experimentation, I found that the video gets really pixely when I do that. It may be about time to upgrade my laptop to an actual computer. I do love my laptop. I got it when I was in school, so it was great that it was portable, and it has a touchscreen, which means I don't need a separate drawing tablet. But it is getting kind of old, and it obviously doesn't have the same processing power as a regular, decent computer. Going back to the character design thing for a moment, I think my Storm is the true example of my not caring about being accurate to any particular canon design. I really did just combine a few of my favorite designs, and my main concern was keeping it relatively simple, while obviously making sure it still looked like Storm. Admittedly, not hard to do with such an icon. Last but not least, my final piece is based on this Nia eye catch, and who better parallels her arc than Jean Grey in the Phoenix Saga. I know current iterations of Jean have moved past this storyline and era, but I felt that it was too perfect a fit to pass up. I particularly liked the way that Nia's hair blends together and forms these swirling patterns, and I thought I could translate that into the flames of the Phoenix. Unfortunately, that means I lose a bit of the contrast that the original piece had, but it's more accurate to the appearance of the Phoenix this way. I actually recorded all of these in one day. I did most of the sketch the day before, but everything you see in this video was all finished in one day. I didn't have to do it this way, but I did, so now I get to tell you all about how important it is to take breaks and stretch. Altogether, the videos before speeding it up totaled about 6 hours, and I did not give myself enough rest between each recording, and now my arm is hurting. As in, it's still hurting, even now as I'm recording the voiceover 5 days later. There's a weird little sting in my elbow now whenever I move it in a certain way. So don't be like me, kids. Rest, stretch, and take breaks. Drawing may not use a lot of physical strength, but you are using a lot of the same muscles and repeated motions, and that can lead to overworking or straining them. That being said, I did really enjoy working on these, and I would love to add more pieces to this Xmen Gurren Lagann series in the future. I may or may not already have some ideas for which characters to match with which eye catch, so let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of this as well. And I hope this video wasn't too niche. I know Gurren Lagann isn't exactly a modern anime, but if you haven't watched it before, I highly recommend it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions for other video ideas, you can let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram at KaylinVerse to see the rest of my work, and if you want to support me so I can keep making more videos, you can subscribe or donate to my Ko-fi, or find my stuff for purchase on Redbubble and in print. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.